National universalism is a foreign policy technique usually adopted by powerful states, and it's totally opposite to the isolationism. In isolationism, states don't interfere in other states' matters or try to remain isolated and neutral in regional conflicts. While in national universalism, state try to impose its ideology on other states by using different techniques, by using soft power or any other mean. But in simple words, national universalism means if a state tries to impose its ideology or tries to inject its ideology in other states, that type of foreign policy or that technique of foreign policy is called national universalism. So this policy implies that a country tries to impose its own way of life on other countries. That's if a country is a democratic country, and if that country wants other countries to follow the democratic system, and they try to impose democratic values or inject democratic values in other states, then we say that that state is following the national universalism. The national universalism means that the state tried to universalize its ideology, that it tried to propagate or expand its ideology to other countries as well. Initially, the concept of national universalism or the technique of national universalism was started by President Wilson of USA during World War One, when he said that the allies are trying to, or whatever the allies are doing, it's better to promote or protect democracy. Sweden also adopted such policies after Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, when they inject their communist ideology on other states, or when they absorb different states under the umbrella of Soviet Union. Actually, but in actual terms, the national universalism or the technique of national universalism was adopted in post-World War II period. Uh, in actual sense, when two major powers, the USA and USSR, were imposing their ideology on different states and trying to absorb different states in their own ideology or in their own colors. Now, all states can't adopt this policy, or all states can't use this foreign policy technique. This needs some special conditions for a state to adopt such a technique. The very first thing is that the state which want to adopt the technique of national universalism must be overwhelmingly should have overwhelmingly superiority, especially in military field. It should have a huge military, it should have a huge military power, and it should be able to protect herself and the states where they are trying to inject their ideology. If a state doesn't have a good military power, then they can't adopt the technique of national universalism. And the second thing is that they must have an ideology that gives impetus and self-confidence to carry out world mission. That ideology is very much important. They should have a well-developed ideology that they want to try to impose on others. For example, if a country itself is a democratic country, then they will try to impose democratic system on others as well. And if a country is itself a communist country, then they will try to impose communism on other states. They must have an ideology that they want to impose on others. And the third requirement is that they must have technical means of organization to conquer and maintain world government. They should have that much organizational base that they should be able to conquer different states, and they should not only be able to conquer different states, but they should be able to maintain government on those states as well. Actually, the concept of national universalism emerged because of the difference emerged in the concept of nation or the concept of or the objectives of politics. If you will see in 19th century, that as explained by Morgan Thau, a well-known political scientist of USA, he differentiated the nationalism of 19th century and nationalism of 20th century. If you will see the concept of nationalism in 19th century, the ultimate goal and end of politics is nation. While in 20th century, it goes something beyond. In 20th century, nation is not the ultimate goal of politics. Rather, nation is a basic unit of universalism. When the entire world converted to a global village, now the nations are basic units of political objective, and the political objective goes beyond nation, when beyond nation to the universalism. And perhaps this created the concept or technique of national universalism as well, when states try to impose their ideology on other states as well. Thank you for joining. Take care. Goodbye.